Was the Singleton hoard much larger than admitted to at the time, large enough perhaps to require 2 army trucks to move? What has been established is the following. Sergeant Singleton recovered 25 boxes worth of gold bullion, that is 100 bars, on the 8th of June 1945, and handed it over to 2 US officers that he identified as OSS types, though he never had their names, and this gold subsequently disappeared. And 6.5 tons of Ribbentrop gold from Schloss Fuchel has never been seen again either. In total, this amounts to 7.75 tons of gold bullion, with gold prices today at around $46,000 per kilo. That's over $366 million.
$506 million today.
It, or at least part of it.
At 2001.
Perhaps quite a lot of it remains buried in caches in the Austrian mountains today. Further research by the authors of Nazi Gold have proposed identities to the 2 unnamed intelligence officers who drove off with the Singleton hoard.
How do you think I got these out?
Colonel James Fisher, an American of British parentage, was appointed chief investigator in the cartel branch of the US military government in Berlin just after the war. His job was the rounding up of missing gold, platinum, uranium, and diamonds from the Reich Precious Metals Bureau, worth tens of billions of dollars at today's prices. It has been suggested that the enormous wealth passing through his office corrupted him. As they say in the book Nazi Gold, quote, out there in the lawless outback of a once rich nation in ruins, and armed with priceless insider information that was his alone, the opportunities for a man in Fisher's privileged position to make a killing and become astronomically rich outright were legion. If he found what he was looking for, who else was to know? If he made his own purely personal arrangements to dispose of what he found, who was to stop him? End quote. Fisher and his men ranged all over Germany, particularly southern Germany. Circumstantial evidence exists that places Fisher and an associate named Stock at the site of the Singleton hoard. Fisher was later discovered bartering his ill-gotten gains through a Berlin-based Soviet buying agency, selling not only gold, but anything from stocks to antiques to fine art. Fisher's scams were so extensive that he even was able to open an import-export agency with offices in New York City, Paris, and Brussels, whilst he was a serving army officer in Berlin. The British intelligence service, MI6, tipped off the US Counterintelligence Corps, and Fisher was arrested. On the 9th of November 1946, he was found guilty of trading with the enemy, dishonorably discharged from the army, and given 1.5 years hard labor in Germany. The second trial in December 1946 was actually closed down on orders from higher authorities, as it was simply too embarrassing for the US occupation authorities. On the 5th of June 1947, Colonel Fisher was released and allowed to return to the US, where he became a very successful businessman. All the files determining his criminality were later destroyed by order of the US government. As the authors of Nazi Gold point out, Fisher remained the only US intelligence officer who had the remit to locate the second cache of gold on the Steinriegel, the means and opportunity to make off with it in the manner described by eyewitness Sergeant Singleton, and the unique insider information about how to dispose of it. End quote. Was Colonel James Fisher and his men the real-life Kelly's heroes? It remains an intriguing possibility.
Yep.
Thanks for watching. Please subscribe and share.